Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. And overall, I thought tonight's Dynamite was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it, but there were a couple of things that were pretty big head scratchers. Like, A, why was the Jon Moxley Cope World Title Street Fight not the main event? Why did Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander have to main event this show? Oh, because it set up the Toni Storm title match. They could have done that in the middle of the show, the top of the hour deal. This match did not need to main event. The crowd was not really hyped for it. And now that's 2 weeks in a row with kind of dud main events for AEW on Dynamite, that is. So, yeah. And then, so like we got 3 matches basically told to us for Dynasty. And then this weekend, they're doing some dumb shit with Collision. You're going to get 1 hour of Collision on Saturday and 1 hour of Collision on Sunday. What? And then we're just getting a random ass trios title match. We haven't seen Claudio. We haven't seen Pac in how long? When's the last time that we saw Top Flight team with AR Fox? But AR Fox and Top Flight are just going to randomly challenge for the trios titles? Yeah, because that makes any sense. That makes any sense at all. So it's like AEW still in their wacky, weird ways of just doing things to do things and having them not really make that much sense. So I don't know. I don't know about all of that. But overall, like I said, not a bad Dynamite. I enjoyed it for the most part. And now we're barreling on as we're getting closer to Dynasty. When is the Dynasty show again? Dynasty is taking place April 6th. So Dynasty is in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. We'll see how that all does shape out. So far, we have 3 matches official. We'll see where we go from here. But with all that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any, Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here. Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to support us in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get emotes and emojis you can use in the chat in the comments section. You get access to our graphics files, our graphics packages, our graphics tutorials. You get access to our watch-alongs, and you also get access to our Q&As. Also, remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Games Store. Head over to the Epic Games Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that new Split Fiction. Maybe you want Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced, 33 Immortals, or more. Use our code PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Games Store purchases, whether that's on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Nintendo Switch, your mobile device, your tablet, your PC. It doesn't matter. Heck, you trying to get that new Shohei Ohtani skin in Fortnite? Use this code right here, PWU NLIMITED. But with all of that, get that off the screen there. We got AEW Dynamite to talk about. And before we get into all that, Esports Gaming rolls with a couple of bit donations here. He says, quote, "The ball is now in AEW and Tony Khan's court to give Sting to have one final WWE moment with Lex Luger in the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So give the wrestling fans what they want. Now, here's the thing with this. So the news came out today that Sting has informed, not Sting, Lex Luger has informed WWE that if at all possible, Sting is the one that he wants to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Now, the big question there is, if at all possible. We do not know, A, if Sting's willing to do it, or B, if AEW would allow him to do it. Now, also, we don't know. This is the other thing. We don't even know if AEW has to give permission or not. There's a chance that if Sting wants to do it, he just does it and doesn't have to ask Tony Khan for permission. Yeah, we've got these people whining and crying. Oh, WWE thinks they can get whatever they want. They can get Sting, but they're not going to this and that and play ball at AEW and da da da. And then you got other people. So WWE announced another European tour, I guess you would say, leading up to Clash in Paris. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to be in the UK at the same time as AEW. They're doing this to combat Forbidden Door. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not doing this to try and hurt AEW in London. And anybody that's trying to whine and cry and put that out there online, get a fucking life. Like, really? Really? Esports Gaming Rules also says, Monet and Athena should be called a Tony Khan presents the battle of the mega egos of the AEW ROH Women's Division. So, here's the thing. I would not say Athena's got a big ego. Athena is the, quote, forever champ, because that's how she is booked. It is, do not, and I mean not, compare her to Mercedes Moné. Athena is, well, amazing, both in and out of the ring. And Mercedes, well, she's good in the ring, and I've never interacted with her personally, but I know people that have said she's kind of a shitty person. Athena, not. I know people that know Athena personally. They say she's a great person. But it does seem like, coming off of the Billy Starks match tonight with Mercedes, they could be building to that. And my one thing here is, don't put the ROH title on Mercedes. Don't give Mercedes 5 belts. This shit of wrestlers carrying multiple titles from multiple companies and da-da-da-da is getting old. It was cool when Ultimate Dragon did it back in the day because that didn't happen. But now we see it all the time. Oh, this guy's got 2 belts. One from this company, one from that company. Mercedes got 4 titles. Takeshita's got 2 titles. And this and that. And it's like, it's getting old. And it's making championships seem worthless when you're just throwing them all on one person. Like when they did, no offense to Eddie Kingston, when they did the Triple Crown deal or whatever it was, and he had the Ring of Honor, the AEW, and the New Japan belt all at once. It was like, okay. So he's got all these belts, and what is he going to do with them? Just walk around with them. So I don't know. But regardless, I just hope if they are doing Mercedes and Athena, which they did tease tonight, we'll talk about later, I hope they don't just do this to put the ROH Women's title on Mercedes, because that would just be dumb. And he also says Kenny Omega got to deal with 2 guys before Okada. Yeah, that should be a really fun match. Because Mike, when they announced they're doing the mini tournament and the winner would get Omega, and then we saw the 4 guys that got into the match that we did tonight, I was like, ooh, I'd love to see Speedball win, but it's going to be Ricochet. I'm like, it's going to be Ricochet because they need a heel to go against Omega. But the way they did it to get Speedball in there, I was like, oh, that was pretty clever. I liked that. I thought that was good. Get us the triple threat. Speedball now gets a big match on his first pay-per-view for AEW, and we're golden with it. You're pushing this guy as something special. Now, granted, we've seen this a lot in AEW. You push somebody as something special right at the jump, and then they peter out. Hasn't happened yet with Ricochet, which is a good thing, but it does happen a lot in AEW. I mean, look, where's Camille? Where's she been? She was pushed as this big, dominant, brooding, security kind of force woman. Can't fuck with her. And then, well, Mercedes just shot all that shit. So we'll see how it all does go. But yes, Kenny Omega will be defending the AEW International Championship at Dynasty against both Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. And let's get into talking about this show, as that match to set that in motion did kick off the show. It was Ricochet, Speedball Mike Bailey, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Davis. I guess you just need that other heel and big guy to catch the smaller guys doing their stuff. Because Mark Davis, it should not have been Mark Davis in this match, but regardless. Kid Vicious says, speaking of Shohei Ohtani, do you watch baseball often? Actually, I do. I'm a big Angels fan. And even though I hate the Dodgers, I will still root for Shohei because I am a Shohei fan. He's the only reason I will watch a Dodger game. Don Callis was on commentary for this match, as it's Bailey who got the loud, Mike Bailey that is, who got the loud chant from the crowd to start things off. So Callis calls him a scumbag from Quebec. Cassidy plays the early mind games, slowly somersaulting into a one-man stalemate, and that gets a holy shit chant before a lightning quick start from everybody else, as Davis was sent outside and Ricochet faked going for, excuse me, whoa, hiccup. Ricochet faked going for a dive. Bailey then lit him up with some speedball kicks until Cassidy was in there with his little kicks and hands in the pockets. Bailey tried a series of kicks, but Cassidy countered all, skipping up only to be pulled to the outside by Ricochet. Ricochet literally hit and ran, which then allowed Bailey to get a roll up for a 2. Davis no-sold Bailey's chops and demolished him with a one shot of his own. Cassidy suffered the same fate. Ricochet grabbed Callis' headset and thought he was The Rock. He just started going off on commentary while the match is happening. Oh, you know what? Excalibur and Shivani and blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what he said. I didn't write it down, but cool. It kind of fits the character, so it's whatever. I really do enjoy this heel prick. I think I'm better than everybody, Ricochet. I do enjoy it a lot. Like in WWE, and why is it? Give me 1 second. There we go. In WWE, Ricochet was always the babyface. Babyface, white meets babyface. They never let him be a heel. And now we're seeing what he can do as a heel. Oh boy. Just think of how good he could have been doing this character in WWE. Granted, he's doing great with it in AEW. I'm not saying he would be better than he is in AEW than in WWE if he turned heel, but he would be this good, I think, in WWE as a heel. Ricochet tried to steal the pin from Cassidy at one point, but was launched outside by Davis. Bailey and Cassidy tried to double team, but were thwarted with a series of sentons. Cassidy tried a stun dog, but held Davis down long enough for Bailey to fly in with double knees to the back. Ricochet and Bailey then took turns hitting standing shooting star presses as the match started breaking down with everybody just kind of going at it. Davis at one point controlled during a commercial break. Cassidy finally hit a suplex to a huge pop, only to be attacked from behind by Ricochet. Ricochet missed a vertigo, allowing Cassidy to hit a deja vu head scissor takedown. At one point, Cassidy rolled through a Hurricane Rana and got a 2 off of it. Roundhouse kick into a Falcon Arrow from Bailey, who went to the top for a big shooting star for a 2 as Davis pulled Bailey outside, but was met with a diving Ricochet. Back inside the ring, Ricochet went up top for a shooting star press of his own, but Cassidy kicked out. At one point, there was a one-armed powerbomb on Bailey that led to a pop-up powerbomb on Ricochet before a pendulum pile driver spiked Cassidy, only for Bailey to save the pin at the last possible moment. It was a crazy series of near falls by Bailey and Davis, who hit his backflip double knees, roundhouse kick to the head, but Bailey went for the backslide. Ricochet then jumped in, helping with the backslide, putting his feet up on the ropes for leverage. They both held down Mark Davis. The referee counted 1, 2, 3, and both thought they won, which technically they did. Referee Bryce Remsburg then went over to Justin Roberts and was like, yeah, they both win. They're both number 1 contenders. So Justin Roberts does tell us, challenging Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship will be Speedball Mike Bailey and Ricochet. So at Dynasty, and they did confirm this, at Dynasty, it will be a triple threat for the AEW International Championship with Kenny Omega defending, like I said, against both Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. That match should be so much fun. That match could steal the night. I can't wait for that match. That match is going to be awesome. And then we'll probably get leading up either next week or the week after, maybe the go-home show, we'll probably get a Speedball versus Ricochet just singles matches, like a preview kind of deal. So that should be fun to do the triple threat for the title. We get a video package on the Hurt Syndicate, who are not there yet again. Nigel McGuinness is heard calling them the Walking Armageddon. And this does lead to our first of 2 title matches on the night. Mercedes Moné versus Billy Starks. The commentary put over Starks' brief success in AEW, but mostly in Ring of Honor, because that's where, well, we basically only saw her. Saw her a little bit in AEW, but not much. I'm not even going to... Elite. Speedball Mike Bailey's never worked for WWE. What the fuck are you talking about? Speedball has never... Did Bailey get transferred from WWE? What are you talking about? Speedball Mike Bailey last worked for TNA. His contract expired last fall, and he opted to leave and sign with AEW. Wow. Anyways, Billy Starks. Talked about her success, first women's television champion, this, that, and so forth in Ring of Honor, how she's so young, but has all these accomplishments. Really cool. They did the big intros with Justin Roberts as Starks offered a handshake, but when they decked her into the ropes and paintbrushed her head. Snapmare into a meteor, got a quick near fall as Starks fought out of the corner with a tornado DDT, but as she signaled for her top rope senton, Moné bailed outside as Starks met her with a suicide dive and a somersault senton off the second rope. Back inside the ring, Starks went up top and hit a top rope senton flush, but Moné, in serious pain, kicked out. Starks wanted the Sugoi driver, but Moné escaped into a backstabber as she dispatched Starks to the outside going into a break. When we come back from the break, Starks was wanting a tombstone, but Moné countered into seemingly a tombstone lung blower of her own and got a 2 off of it. Excalibur put over Starks, having a 4.0 average in high school while still wrestling as full-time as she could. As pointed out, his was a 3.9. And Shivani called him GPA Jones, which broke everybody on commentary. When at one point wanted the 3 amigos, but Starks countered right at the end into a neck breaker on the knee. Crowd was loudly behind Billy Starks, wanting to see the youngster win this match as she hit a rolling elbow and a high-stack German suplex for her 2. Moné caught a charging Starks in the corner with a face buster into the buckle, but Starks avoided a Moné maker, hit a pump knee, and a spin kick. But Moné answered with a discus lariat into a double down in a great sequence. Starks slid through a backstabber for a 2, as the ladies traded near falls until Starks got a John Woo drop kick. There's a violent water wheel drop into the corner from Starks, who again looked to signal for the Sugoi driver, but Moné just barely got her foot on the bottom rope to break the count, and it was like the last possible second the foot went up onto the ropes. And Billy's just looking at it like, no freaking way. No, that did not just happen. Starks went for a somersault senton off the top to the apron. Mercedes moved, and she crashed hard on the apron with just a thud. Like a hard thud. This was bad. Moné then pulled her back into the ring, locked on the statement maker, and tapped her to retain the AEW Women's TBS Championship. I don't know why I said women's. AEW TBS Championship. And move on to Dynasty, where it looks like she could be facing maybe Athena, the ROH Women's Champion. We'll talk about that when that segment does come up a little bit later. But this match was good. I thought these two worked really well together. Mercedes, when she's on, she's on. Like, really good. And Billy Starks is always really good as well. So, yeah. I hope this is more of like, and I don't want to compare this to WWE, but like a main roster call-up for Billy Starks. Because they kind of said something along the lines of, now let's see what Billy, like, we've seen all the things Billy's done in Ring of Honor. Now let's see what she could do on the main stage or something like that is what Excalibur said. So, we'll see. But really good match here with a TBS title on the line. Got a video package of the Outrunners. They called them the unofficial mascots of the Omaha Mavericks basketball team as footage of them amping up the team before their March Madness game against St. John's tomorrow night. And Taz on commentary is like, nope, they ain't beating St. John's. Nope, they ain't beating St. John's. Nope, don't say that. They're not better than St. John's. It's funny because St. John's is a New York team. So I guess now it's like whatever city AEW goes into, they want the Outrunners to go do pep talks for the college sports team. Sure. It gets them on goddamn Sports Center. Cool. Then they tell us, up next, Jon Moxley and Cope in a street fight for the world title. And I go, the fuck? We're at the top of the hour. We still have an out. This match is not. We still have 2 more matches. Huh? I was dumbfounded. Then realized fucking Megan Bain and Chris Statlander with Tony Storm is on commentary. Okay. That's the main event? What? Like, no. I get what they did, and they wanted to close the show, setting up the Tony Storm match for Dynasty. Cool, whatever. But the match was just not a main event caliber match in the least bit. So then they do a recap and they give us footage, of MVP offering MJF a spot in the Hurt Syndicate last week and their segment back and forth and whatnot and so forth. And then we go backstage to MJF holding the business card with a very bad spray tan and said, many are placing their bets on who will be the next AEW World Champion. Some think it's Darby Allin. MJF has beaten twice with a side headlock and could be dead on a mountain soon. Some think Will Ospreay, who MJF beat for the international title last year. Some think it could be Hangman Page. What says there's only one thoroughbred to put your chips on, and you're looking at him. Looking at the business card. Has gotten me thinking, he said. Like maybe I do need someone else by my side. Maybe I do need a crew. The title he held is Dictator. He said the title right now is held by Dictator John. And unless you got people by your side, well, he's got the numbers on his side. And I'm like, fucker ain't wrong. He said, maybe I need a click of my own because he's got one. But the last time I was surrounded by somebody, I got burned. Maybe MVP, you'll hear my answer next week. MVP said the time for daddy crying over spilled milk is over. And it's about time again to pop some champagne. So he didn't say it, but I think maybe he's going to enter the Owen. And I like that they're making the Owen. Now that we know that the winner of the Owen gets the world title shot at All In, they're starting to kind of try to make the Owen feel more important. As we learn later, Hangman's going to be in the Owen. This might end up being the most stacked Owen that we've seen, at least on the men's side. We don't know anything about the women's side, but we got Will Ospreay, we got Hangman so far, and maybe we get MJF. So, yeah. Then we have Jon Moxley versus Cope in a street fight, the AEW World title. And the match, the match itself, not a word. Anyways, the match itself starts out in the loading bay, I guess you would say. We see Moxley from the outside in the snow. They want to show this man's tough. He can walk out in the snow, the wind, and the da-da-da. Okay, cool, whatever. Anyways, so Cope attacks them outside, and then they start fighting all around the building. They eventually make it into the arena floor, this, that, so forth. They do what they do. And like, all that's not bad. Not great, but not bad. I was enjoying it to an extent. And I'm not mentioning the thing with the nails in Moxley's back, but the match fell off the rails when almost a dozen motherfuckers came out. When almost a dozen people came out and interfered in this match. Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, Pac, Marina, both members of FTR, Willow, Kip Sabian. I think Nick Wayne was out there. It's like, why are all these guys coming out here and interfering in this match? No, I get it's the Death Rider thing, and it's bullshit. And then I tweet this and I say, I'm going to read my tweet here because I got to read you this fucking response that I got because it was great. I shut the guy back down right quick. I tweeted out, where is it? Come on. Why am I not finding it? The Street Fight was fun till it totally went off the rails. I'm not even talking about the nail stuck in Mox's back. I'm talking about almost a dozen people running out and ruining a good match. This is why I hate the Death Rider bullshit. Someone then responds and goes, but you love Roman versus Cody from Mania 40? Am I right? That was the same thing. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because this was all at once, just guy after guy after guy after guy, just over each other and this and that. The difference was, A, we didn't have 10 people come out and get involved. At WrestleMania, maybe we did have a lot, and it may have been a little overkill. We had Rock, we had the Usos, we had Cena, we had Solo, we had Undertaker. Seth. Was that 6, 7? So a lot. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. This is where I shot this guy down, and he never responded again. I said, the difference is that tonight, it was just guy after 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 guy, just jumble, clusterfuck. Mania, it was one guy comes out, do their spot, it breathes, it does its thing, then the next guy came out. They do their spot, they breathe, then things mattered, made sense. It was all built up for a reason, not just all these guys are on this guy's side, and all these guys are on this guy's side. So that's why we're doing it no. It was a total clusterfuck. At Mania, it wasn't a clusterfuck. That's the difference. Mania, they knew how to let moments be moments and breathe. One other thing is, we're almost a year later, and people are still talking about that Cody Roman WrestleMania main event. I give it a week, and people are not going to be talking. Some, maybe, but most will not be talking about this match. So you can't compare, oh, they did the same thing in that match, and you liked that. But it was different. Not the same at all. Not the same at all. Again, a year later, we're still talking about that match. We're still talking about Roman and Cody in the main event of WrestleMania. We give it a week, most ain't talking about this Cope Moxley match. Not at all. Other than just to say, this happened last week, and that's how we got Moxley and Cope, or Moxley and Swerve for Dynasty. That's all people are going to mention this Street Fight for. Oh, it's solidified. Mox retained his title, and now he moves on to Dynasty. That's all it's going to be. So, think about it. Meltzer will talk about it for a day. He'll talk about it tonight. I doubt Meltzer brings it up again. I highly doubt that after tonight's podcast that Meltzer does with Brian Alvarez, he mentions this match again. I highly, highly doubt it. And you saying that, Elite, tells me you don't listen to any of Meltzer's content. Because you're one of those people, oh, Meltzer's going to love this. Meltzer's going to give flowers to da-da-da-da-da. No. Meltzer is actually one of the more critical people on AEW in the media space. Always saying how they're bad with marketing. The Death Rider stuff sucks. Like, Meltzer is very critical, and you would know that if you actually listen to his podcast. But no, you only see or hear or read the quotes of people trying to dunk on Meltzer. Oh, Meltzer praising this again for AEW. But they don't clip out or talk about where Meltzer is critical of AEW. That's the thing. You got all these people that are jealous of Dave, and so they want to dunk on Dave all the time. So they take the stuff where he's I guess you would say the shill of AEW, da-da-da-da. So he never gives them bad reviews. Again, you don't listen to his podcast. Yes, he does say when things are bad. Him and Brian both, when they were reviewing Revolution, said that the cage match with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher went way too long, and the Spanish fly off the top was unnecessary. He said you could have cut 5, almost 10 minutes off that match and it would have been just as good, if not better. That's being critical of the product. So, just saying. Also, for you guys arguing in the chat, Megan Bain is the same height as Charlotte Flair, 5'8", 5'9". She's not 6'1". Elite says, how many stars did it get? I don't care. That's Dave's opinion. He can give it however many stars he wants. What does it matter? What does it matter? All these people that put so much stock into Dave's stars, what does it matter? It's one guy's opinion. It's not like it's the opinion of I'm going to butcher this word, cumulative board. It's not like in video games where you have the Game Awards, right? You have the Game Awards, and you have a committee of members of the video games media voting. And that's how you come up with, the awards. Unlike in wrestling where it's like, oh, there's Fightful's awards. Those are fan voted. Dave's awards, the Observer Awards, those are fan voted. But then you also have Dave's stars, which are Dave's opinion. One person's opinion. Why are we so hung up on one man's opinion? Yes, Dave's been doing this for how long? And I'm not trying to shit on Dave now, but it's like Dave never wrestled. But he's giving his opinion on a fan of things he likes. And so now you shitting on him saying, well, how many stars did he give it? What does it matter? Everybody's got the style that they like and don't like and this and that. So if that's the style he likes and he's going to give it 3, 4, 5 stars, he's going to give it 3, 4, 5 stars. If I'm going to watch a match and go, oh, that one was too hardcore for me. That had too many, I don't even know, but it's like, that wasn't my style. I'm going to rate it lower because for me, I didn't like it. So, yeah. Hung up. No, the Game Awards are not rigged, you stupid son of a bitch. I'm going to say it. They're not rigged. Trust me. I know way too many people in games media. I know people that know Jeff Keighley personally. The Game Awards are not rigged. Wow. To even say the Game Awards are rigged as fuck because Keighley, guy loved the Konami. What? Tell me the last time Kojima won an award at the Game Awards. Tell me. Tell me. I'll wait. Did Death Stranding win Game of the Year? No. It was no. I'm looking right here. Game Awards. Where are the Game Awards for 2020? Game Awards 2020, 2019. It was nominated for Game of the Year. Did it win? No. What was Game of the Year that year? I know it didn't win. It was... Scroll. It was Sekiro. Won in 2019. Not Death Stranding. So to say, oh, it's rigged because he gives the Konami guy who hasn't worked for Konami in how fucking long? Oh, it's rigged because he gives Kojima. No. Astrobot won last year, Elite, you stupid. Talking about when Death Stranding was up for Game of the Year. The last time Kojima could have won Game of the Year. So, again, you're proving my point that you don't even know what you're talking about. Don't even know what you're talking about. Also, Esports Gaming Rules says, speaking of Otani, What about the Tokyo Dome crowd for those baseball games? The place deserves a WWE PLE very soon one day. Oh, yeah, WWE would be able to do a really big show inside the Tokyo Dome if they really wanted to. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to one year bringing a like Survivor Series or a SummerSlam to the Tokyo Dome. Give them a bigger show. I know, maybe you do a Backlash, maybe you do a Payback, an Extreme Rules, something. I don't know. But give them a big show like a SummerSlam in the Tokyo Dome. That would be super cool. He also says Dave sometimes lies about his reporting, but some people think he paid by AEW, but I glad he a critic. So I don't know about when Dave lies. Dave never makes stuff up. Sometimes he gets false info and runs with it. Okay. Everybody gets false info at times, or not super correct info. It happens. No, I'm not playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I was told not to waste my time with it right now. It's got bugs, and it's just okay. My friend literally asked me, you play Ghost of Tsushima? I said, yeah. They said, you're fine. I know someone that reviewed it. I was like, hey, how was Assassin's Creed Shadows? His little thing was, you play Ghosts? I'm like, of Tsushima? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm like, yeah. He goes, you'll be fine. Historical inaccurate garbage. How do you know? Have you played it, Elite? Have you played it? No, because you can't yet. Man, you're such a negative Nancy, aren't you, Elite? Just so negative about everything. Who pissed in your Cheerios today, buddy boy? Anyways, this world title match that really should have main evented this show. Moxley was making his entrance and was attacked by Cope in the loading bay. Cope smacked the guitar against Moxley's leg before drop kicking him out of the truck into the garage door. Moxley recovered, smashing Cope against the door before grabbing the briefcase, presumably the one with the title in it. And they start brawling into the arena floor. Cope decked Moxley with a microphone before bashing him with a trash can and hitting him with a snap suplex on the floor. Moxley battled back with a rear naked choke before slamming Cope's head against the LED boards. Moxley then pulled out a kendo stick, and Terry's like, I never seen kendo stick that color before. They're usually like a beige color. I'm like, what the fuck does it matter? Anyways. No, Elite, you're just being very negative. Very negative. They brawl into the arena. They're fighting around ringside area. Both men spill into the crowd once more. And they're fighting. They eventually get back to ringside and they clear off the commentary. Fucking Excalibur sounded like a dipshit here. So they clear off the commentary table, right? And Excalibur then goes, well, we're running blind. Or no, what did he say? Hold on. I tweeted it. I didn't write it down. We are working off the seat of our pants or something. He said, we're flying blind here because their monitors were all knocked down. These guys are like 2 arm lengths away from you. You can't fucking see what they're doing to call commentary, to call the match. Really? I hate when commentary does that, when an announcer does that. Oh, my monitors have been knocked down. I don't know what's happening anymore. Come on. Corey, Wikipedia is not an accurate source for information in school, college, or legal, like in court of law. Wikipedia cannot be used as a credible source because literally anybody, me, my 10-year-old daughter, my niece, anybody, they could just go and they could change Wikipedia. Anybody. So saying, I checked Wikipedia, it says this. I can go to Wikipedia right now and put that she's 16'4" if I wanted to. And it'll live there. I can literally put she's 16'4" and it'll live there on Wikipedia until somebody changes it. So saying I checked Wikipedia means nothing, because Wikipedia is not an accurate or credible source of information. Anyways, they're fighting, eventually get back into the ring, and where was I? So Cope takes a paradigm shift on the announce table, and the doctors go and check on him. Things returned from a break, and Moxley had set up a table at ringside and was laying in chair shots to the back of Cope before choking Cope, and then putting the chair over his neck to Pillmanize him. But Cope did get up and threw the chair at Moxley's head. Moxley did get his arm up to block it. At one point, where was I? There's a forearm battle that ramped up as Cope delivered a series of lariats and flapjacks before going under the ring and pulling out the spiked bat, or the board, bat, whatever you want to call it. Cope then rolled into the ring and was immediately dropped by Moxley with a cutter. Moxley then slid another table into the ring, but in taking his time to set it up, Cope grabbed Spike and hit him in the ribs. Then he put the bat down, grabbed Moxley, and basically like gave him like a suplex or a backdrop deal or whatever onto the spiked bat. And the spikes, the nails, literally went in to Moxley's back, to the point where Moxley rolled over and sat up, and the board was hanging from his back because they didn't use the proper kind of nails for this spot. I'll tell you right now, those nails were way too thick. You do a spot like this, those nails were way too thick. Especially when Yuta comes down and he's trying to pull the board out of Moxley's back, and it's just pulling the skin. It's just like, pretend this is Moxley's back, pulling the skin like this. Like, I can't get my arm up high enough. It's just like pulling the skin like this. If they had thinner nails, that wouldn't have happened. They probably wouldn't have gone in as far. They may have still gone in a little bit, but not as far, and they wouldn't have got stuck if they weren't so thick. So if you're going to use that kind of a weapon, you do like a backdrop, which you shouldn't have anyways. That's just a dumb spot to start with. Don't use so thick of nails. I get what some people are going to say, but the thick nails make it look better. So, yeah. Anyways. Yuta comes down, boots into it with Cope for a second. Then he tries to pull the board off of Moxley's back, and it's not coming out. Yuta then jumps out of the ring, goes at it with Cope, and then gets powerbombed through the table that was set up at ringside. Claudio then shows up and attacks Cope. Pac then shows up and attacks Cope. FTR then sprints out, and they get involved. And everyone's just brawling and this and that and this and that. And it's just a clusterfuck, and I can't keep up with what's going on. Marie Shafir at one point runs out to break up a pin. Cope was about to win. And then Kip Sabian just randomly runs out there. Nick Wayne shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? We got 10 people. They're not in this match out here. Mother Wayne looked on, so she was out there as well. I'm like, what? There was a bulldog choke applied. Cope went out, and Moxley retained. Sure. Like I said, this shit went off the rails in a bad way. And I'm not talking about the O spot with the nails in Moxley's back. No. I'm talking about all these goddamn people running out and just clusterfuck. Clusterfuck. Post-match, FTR and Willow are checking on Cope in the ring. Cope sits up and he extends his hand out to Dax Harwood, who I guess he wants to help him up. And Dax just goes, gets out of the ring and walks away and leaves. Dax Weir then goes to, talk to Dax, like, what the hell was that all about? And Dax kind of dismisses him as well and leaves. Willow's kind of taken aback, like, what the heck just happened? And yeah. Commentary question if this was Cope's last bite at getting a shot at the world title. So that was it. Kind of anticlimactic in the end with all that bullshit. We again got footage of the learning tree laying into Bandito and Gravity at Revolution in the 0 hour. Bandito was backstage with Renee Paquette, who said wrestling runs through his veins. He understands the dangers, but what Jericho did to his family, humiliating them, is something he'll never forgive Jericho for. Bandito said on Collision, he hopes Jericho shows up and gives him his brother's mask back. Johnny TV then shows up and basically just challenges Bandito to a match. So yeah, on Sunday's edition of Collision, they're going to do Bandito versus Johnny TV. Cool. We then had Will Ospreay versus AR Fox. And here's my thing. I don't think Will Ospreay should be wrestling right now. I legit think he's got a fucked up hip. Like, his hip is messed up. You can tell by the way he's moving in the ring. It is not normal Will Ospreay. And he's going to really do some damage if he's not careful. Like, he's going to really mess himself up. And commentary was saying it too. Taz was like, hey, he needs to go get a CAT scan or an MRI or an X-ray or something on that hip and make sure that it's actually okay, because he's not moving right. Like, Taz sounded legit concerned for Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, like I said, takes on AR Fox. There's a fast series of switches as both blocked others' cutter attempts into a stalemate. Ospreay was still selling the effects of the cage match, but I don't think he was just selling. There's a leg sweep on the apron by Fox, who hit an up and over double stop to the ribs before floating back down, looking for a brainbuster, but Ospreay countered into a stun dog. Fox then went outside as Ospreay flew out with a slingshot dive as we go to a break. Fox controlled during the commercial, but things ramped up right as things continued. Ospreay hit a standing Spanish fly for a near fall. There was a hook kick that decked Fox and knocked him down. He, though, ducked a hidden blade attempt, hit a short cutter and a haluva kick. Ospreay managed to get a cheeky Nando's kick in, but took too long to follow up, allowing Fox to answer with a lo mein pin. He missed a 450 splash, and Ospreay clobbered him with a hidden blade to pick up the victory. So there we go. Then, well, Ospreay's leaving, and they tell us, oh, hey, we just got word, even though they already showed the graphic once. The match is official. It will be Jon Moxley versus Swerve at Dynasty. So we go to the back, and Renee Paquette's like, well, as you just heard, it is official. Jon Moxley will be defending the AEW World Championship at Dynasty against Swerve Strickland. And now my guest, and I think it's going to be Swerve, and they say, Adam Hangman Page. And I'm like, oh, okay. So Paquette asks him what his thoughts are about Strickland getting the match, and Page said, told you guys. My goal in life is to make sure Swerve never wins that title again, and I'm going to make sure Swerve never wins that title again. He then said that he wants to challenge for the title next. He wants to go for the title at All In, and to do so, he's got to win the Owen, so he's entering himself into the Owen. Mercedes Moné is then backstage with Renee Paquette, who asked her, hey, you and Billy Starks had a really good match tonight. What did you think of that? You put up a great fight, right? And Moné was like, who trained her? Who mentored her? Who brought her up in this business? Whoever did a bad job. She laughs and this and that and says, oh, I would hate to meet that person because they're no good. They can't be any good if they trained her. And then she said, next time you see me, I'll be 17-0. Okay. Basically, she was, without saying her name, cutting down Athena. Because if you know, you know. In ROH, the whole thing is Billy Starks is Athena's quote-unquote minion. Athena's her mentor. And so, yeah, Athena didn't train Billy Starks, but whatever. Let me go to our main event of the night. Toni Storm comes out to join commentary. Luther was by her side. She got a massive ovation. And then the crowd kind of died for the next 20 minutes. She skipped her way to commentary, and Taz saying, skip to Maluma, darling. Excalibur congratulated Storm on her victory in the Hollywood ending at Revolution, as Storm said that she heard Shivani had a Hollywood ending too, and only had to pay $45 for his. Taz popped so hard for that. That got Taz. With fucking basically Tony insinuating Shivani paid a hooker in LA $45. Let me go to our main event. And nothing against these two women, but this was not a main event match. The match was just okay at best. The crowd was not into 90% of it. At times, they kind of booed and cheered at spots because, wrestling fans know that's a spot we're supposed to boo. That's a spot we're supposed to cheer. But then they just get so quiet to where at one point, I think it was Megan Bain was doing shoulder thrusts in the corner to Statlander. And when she would go, with the shoulder thrust, right? So, you can hear it echo through the building because they were so quiet. It's like, It was that quiet that her little shoulder thrusts, moan groans or whatever, were echoing through the building. Not good. Bane said Statlander to the floor early on, but Statlander battled back with a moonsault on the apron and a shotgun dropkick back inside. Storm said Statlander has done the impossible, earn her respect. And then, so Tony Storm's just saying the wackiest, stupidest stuff on commentary. I get a message from a friend that goes, Tony Storm the equivalent of the female broken Matt Hardy, like early broken Matt Hardy, just saying the most wacky, stupidest stuff to try and elicit a reaction. And I'm like, you ain't wrong, bro. Kinda. But with more sexual undertones and innuendos. So Storm refers to herself as the Satomura Dragon, or no, Stormamato Dragon, as Bane caught Statlander's crossbody attempt, but Statlander got free with a short dropkick for a 1. There's a back elbow out of the corner by Statlander, who got free. Follow this up with a charging corner knee. Tried again, but ran into Bane's boot. Then Bane gave her an exploder into the corner. Storm then said, those thighs those women have, they're for crushing watermelons, they're so thick. Ford ran distraction on the apron successfully. Penelope Ford, that is, who was at ringside, with Statlander standing on the second rope. She was then brought down with a back suplex. Bane then hit a running Liger bomb when things returned from a commercial break. At one point, referee Aubrey Edwards blatantly sees Ford try to trip up Chris Statlander, so she ejects her. Instead of doing the disqualification, she says, you're out of here. Storm said, farewell, sugar tits, as Statlander avoided a pump kick into a power bomb and a spinning sit-out slam for a 2. Statlander went for another leaping back elbow, but it led to both ladies trading release German suplexes. Both kept no-selling each other till Statlander was sent to the floor. Bane connected with the Tope Suicida, as back inside the ring, she had a Falcon Arrow for a 2. There's a low bridge to the apron by Statlander, who hit a draping DDT and a somersault senton to the floor. Bane reversed a whip and launched Statlander. So they're fighting on the floor. And Statlander went to throw Mega Bane into the apron. Bane reversed it and threw Statlander into Tony Storm, who was sitting at commentary. So she throws her into Tony Storm. She grabs Statlander, throws her back in the ring, grabs her, hits her with an F5 on the outside, throws her in the ring, hits her with another F5 in the ring, pins her 1, 2, 3. There we go. Tony Storm then gets pissed off and climbs up on the commentary table afterwards. Also, they call her F5 the Fate's Descent. The first time I've heard that. I don't know if they've said this before, but tonight they did call her F5 the Fate's Descent. Fate's Descent. Anyways, Tony Storm gets up on the commentary table, and she's all pissed off that Bane threw Statlander into her. So she gets into the ring, and the two kind of go at it before security runs down to break them up. Storm then clotheslined Bane over the top to the floor, landing on her feet as Storm then grabbed a microphone. Now, during commentary, Storm did make mention of, this Megan Bane, she's the quiet one she is, referencing she hasn't spoken yet at all in AEW. So on the mic, she said, Bane is a big bitch. And she always said, the bigger they are, the harder they come. So it's time to get tantric. She goes, Bane, you keep looking at my title, but you don't say much. So I'll make it easy for you. They'll have a date at the Dynasty, and I'll make her thighs shake, her body quake, and leave her with this strap on and leave with my strap on as I'm timeless Tony Storm. And I'll rip her tits off. Cool. I mean, Tony Storm, I'm not the biggest fan of the character, but I got to give Tony Storm all the credit and all the respect of plays the character pretty damn good. It's not a character I like. I'm not a big fan of all the sex jokes and this and that and the strap on and the coming and this and that. That's just not me. But you got to give it up to Tony Storm for she got this character and she's playing it greatly. Perfectly fantastic. Even though the character may not be for everybody, you got to give it up to her and give her the props of she's doing so great with what she's got. Whether it was her idea, Tony Khan's idea, or somebody else's, Yeah. You do got to give it to her for that one. But with that was everything that did take place tonight at AEW Dynamite. Let me get the poll going here on Twitch really fast. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. Whoop. I didn't like it. So the poll is live on Twitch if you want to go check that one out as we go and check the other polls. We got this poll here. Excuse me, we got the refresh the Twitter poll. As far as the threads poll does go, 50% liked the show, 38% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 41% didn't like tonight's show, 37% liked the show, and 20% thought it was just all right. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 59% liked the show, 23% thought it was just all right, and no, 59% liked it, 23% didn't, and 18% thought it was just all right. As far as the live poll does go, 67% liked the show, 24% thought it was just all right, and 10% didn't like it. I'm going to butcher this name. Mudad says AEW is the best wrestling organization. I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I am going to time you out and possibly ban you for spamming the chat. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but you spamming the chat like that tells me you don't even believe that yourself. Like, AEW is good. AEW is a really good wrestling company. But we've seen their decline. We saw where they were steadily 8,000 people at every Dynamite and Collision. Well, maybe not every Collision, but just about every Dynamite. They got 5,000 to 8,000 people. Now they're barely scratching 3. Some weeks they're barely getting 2. You think that's the best? If they were the best, then people would want to be at their shows. Instead of going to Fresno, California in January of 2023 and doing 8,000 people, I want to say it was, going back last week, Fresno, California, doing 3,000 people in the same building. Oof. Yeah. Just 2 short years later. But with that, regardless of all of that, everybody that voted on Twitch thought the show was just all right. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we'll be back live on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Remember, we're going to be early because SmackDown's airing early on Netflix. We're watching SmackDown on Netflix. Then we're going live early to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown will be in Italy this week, so yeah, that should be a fun one. Have a great night, guys, and we'll see you next time.